It's a rainy day on Broadway, but we're here with a very sunny Broadway star, Mr. Tveit.
Hello, hello.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, back on the boards.
Back on the board.
I love it. I love it when you're back on the boards.
Me too, thanks.
So what I would love to do with you today is walk through your resume a little bit.
Sounds great.
This is the Neil Simon Theater.
Yes, it is.
This is where it all started.
This is where it all began for me in New York, yeah. Yeah, what a wonderful place to be, to make
So
Broadway
we're talking about Hairspray. You were Link Larkin.
Yes.
And you did it on the road first.
I did it on the road for a year.
Yep.
And then they asked me to come to New York, and I got to come here. And actually, a very, very funny story about my opening night. Because, I grew up just about an hour or so upstate.
Yeah.
So my high school chorus teacher organized a bus of people to come to my opening night. Like 70 or 75 people from my hometown came to my opening night. And so I got all this entrance applause, and everyone in the cast on stage with me, they had no idea. They were like, who is this guy getting all this entrance applause? So I had I stacked the deck for myself in the crowd that night. I mean, it's still one of my favorite musicals, and it's just everything about it, the music, the story it tells, how fun it is, that last, I still, You Can't Stop the Beat, that finale number, no matter what happens in the show, that sends the audience out, on such a high.
Is that choreography, that Jerry Mitchell iconic You Can't Stop the Beat choreography, is it easy to learn or difficult to learn?
It's difficult to build your stamina up for it, because it's basically just cardio.
Okay.
I got very addicted to coffee doing Hairspray. I was not a big coffee drinker, and I remember I used to drink like an entire iced coffee when they called 5 minutes to places, just to kind of smile and be shot out of the cannon.
The Neil Simon also, you were the star, you and Norbert Leo Butz starred in Catch Me If You Can.
That's right, yeah.
That was a big role.
Big role.
And it was very much a big moment for you.
I still think the show didn't necessarily run as long as, obviously, we all hoped it would. And I think that show is going to get a big revival one day, and people are going to realize kind of how brilliant it is. It's the same creative team as Hairspray. So again, when we all got to return to this building, it felt like home for a lot of us. It was a wonderful, wonderful time, and I still am just so grateful that I got to do that. It was very, very hard, but wonderful.
Okay, so here we are.
Yeah.
You were in Wicked.
I was in
Wicked.
Wicked.
You're part of the Brotherhood of the White Pants.
Right. Yeah. 2008, I was in Wicked, which seems like no time ago and forever ago. I had so much fun. I saw Wicked in previews while I was down here on a college New York City trip.
Okay.
And
did you know it was going to be a hit?
Yeah, I knew it. I thought it was gonna be. I mean, she flies. Does
she?
She flies at the end of the first act. I just think Wicked is this prime example of how to do a long-running show for a long time. The people that they bring in still are amazing, and they find all this new talent, and it has moments that just hit you across the face in the best way. And I love doing it. It was one of the most fun I've ever had in a show. I
really feel like 30 years from now, we're going to look at the Broadway stars of the moment, and it's going to be they've all been in Wicked. You know what I mean? I mean,
probably.
It just launches so many people.
Well, if you think about all the incredible women that have played the two witches and all the other parts too. I mean, but I think the job that they've always done finding talent for the show is, I think that's why it's still running.
I feel like when you're in your 60s, you could play the Wizard if you wanted to.
Maybe, why not?
That'll be an option.
Yeah.
It'll still be here.
Sounds good. The Wizard, that's a good track. That's a good gig, that Wizard gig, maybe.
Aaron, the Booth Theater, you got to do one of my favorite shows, Next to Normal, in this theater.
Yes, I did.
First of all, it had this amazing music, and then emotionally, it was so big, and then you were doing it all in this very intimate space.
Tiny. The set was like a 3-level house.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of the time.
You were up there a lot.
On the 2nd and 3rd levels. But right where I was in the 3rd level, I was just exactly with the upper balcony. You really felt like you could reach out and touch the balcony on stage in that theater. I think it's my favorite theater on Broadway.
You've been in a lot of joyful shows, and I mean, Moulin Rouge kind of gives you all the emotions, but Next to Normal was definitely a big emotional show and a healing show for so many people. Yeah. What's it like to be a part of an experience like that?
Tremendously meaningful for all of us. I mean, we all had such a close connection to the material. We were all so moved by it. And then once we started performing the show, the stories that we would hear at the stage door every night, because mental illness is still really stigmatized, I think, in our culture. And so many people would say to all of us, that's my mom, that's my dad, that's my sister, that's my brother, that's any family member you can imagine. And I think it just gave them the freedom to express what they were dealing with, and that it was okay, that other people were dealing with the same thing. Yeah. And that's the pinnacle of theater, right? That's what you want to be able to move people and tell stories that matter. And for me, that, you know, it's kind of the most rewarding thing I've ever gotten to do because of that.
How do you feel about spoilers? Your character, Gabe, there's a big spoiler.
Big spoiler.
I'm very precious about spoilers. Like, I still don't want to tell people spoilers. Are you the same way about?
I try to keep spoilers unspoiled, if that makes sense. Yeah. I didn't prep anyone for anything when they came in to see it, so I wanted everybody to have their own reaction, and we heard a lot of reactions.
Oh my God, it got big reactions.
It did,
like,
yeah.
it was so crazy.
Yeah.
Is this the show where the Tveit Tots started? Or was that Wicked? When did the Tveit Tots show up?
I don't quite know. I don't know when that first popped up as a term. But yes, no, I mean, the Next to Normal fans were hugely supportive of the show and really supported me through my continued endeavors. So maybe this was the real beginning here, yeah.
Now this is a beautiful spot.
Here we are, yeah.
Is it weird to have that like there? Are you very used to now having an enormous, I mean, you've done this before, Next to Normal, there's an enormous photo.
I mean, you don't really ever get used to it. Like, I imagine like in the shot right now, I'm just like creeping over my shoulder, which is very funny, but no, it's you know, it's amazing. It's amazing.
But it is nice when you sort of reach that point, right? And have those.
Yes, it's amazing. And listen, as you know, commercial theater's hard. And so, you know, a lot of shows you work on don't achieve this kind of success. And so to have something that you're so tied to and that you created and that you have has such a close place in your heart, to be able to go back in, I mean, that's a dream come true.
So what's it like to think about your career you built? I mean, you know, it's hard to sort of have those moments where you sort of take check of yourself.
Yeah, because you know, it's not something I do often. I don't think people don't naturally do that. So this kind of walk through my my Broadway history, it's very special. And I remember when I started studying theater and kind of falling in love with theater, all I wanted was a career in it and just be able to be in shows and play on stage. And here I am, approaching 20 years from when I left school to do Rent, and I somehow have kept it all going, and I'm so grateful for it.